Hey everybody, Mark Greenawalt here with Mark Greenawalt Fine Art, coming at you again with some of my tales and photography from around the world. Today I want to take you to the islands of Greece. I got to go there with a couple family members, and we stayed in Athens for a couple of the days and then also to the island of Santorini. But while we were in Athens, we decided to take a little 3-island excursion to the islands of Hydra, Poros, and Aegina, and had a fantastic time taking in all the culture. The weather was perfect. It was October, and I got a lot to tell you about it, so let's dive in. So the main trip to Greece we booked through Costco Travel, and it was a 10-day excursion over there to Athens and Santorini, and we split the time up a little bit evenly, but we actually started in Athens first and then went to Santorini in the middle, and then came back to Athens, where our flight was to and from Phoenix, Arizona is where we're flying from. There was a couple of us that went. I went with my wife Lori, my son Zane, my niece Stacy, and my sister-in-law Debbie, and we basically had a blast the whole time there. And like I said, we went in October, so the weather was perfect for us while we were there. Crowds were not so bad. I guess it wasn't the peak season. As a matter of fact, the season was kind of ending for quite a few things, so it was very great timing in that sense. But for today's episode, like I said, I want to talk about an excursion we took, and we booked this through the TripAdvisor company Viator, and it was to 3 islands. The total time on this trip, from my pictures, I got the timestamps. Looks like we were there about 12 hours was the total from the time we left port till we got back to port. And a lot of that was sailing, so I think I calculated that it was like 7.5 to 8 hours of that was on the water, and then it was about 4 hours on split between the islands. And that's maybe a downside, but I got to tell you, it was fun on the boat. Also, they had entertainment on there. We had lunch on there, and there was wine and just lots of fun. And the scenery was fantastic the whole way. So the day got started off about 7:45, I think is what they said on the website. I can't remember if it was that time or not for our hotel, but the pickup was on time. It was a nice little coach bus that picked us up at our hotel in downtown Athens. And then it was about a 30-minute bus ride, very comfortable. Got to see the sights of the early morning as we were driving there, down to the boat dock, the pier where we were to take off. So we're taking a boat ride today to a couple islands. We just got off the bus. The bus picked us up at the hotel, so now we're getting ready to get on the boat. Once we got off the bus, they herded us to the correct boat, gave us our little card that would be our passport on and off the island. There was a little bit of entertainment there, a fun guy with a saxophone playing some fun stuff.
Mehebuba! 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 Good morning. Good morning, beautiful.
And then as soon as we got on, each family was given an opportunity to get their picture taken. Hydra first, and then we're going to go to Poros, and this is Aegina, but this is the back side of Aegina, and our port is actually going to be on the other side.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the island of Hydra, fascinating island of 3,000 inhabitants. We inform passengers that the ship will be sailing from Hydra at 12:45. 12:45 sailing time from Hydra. All passengers kindly requested to be back on board 5 minutes before the ship sailing. Thank you.
Island was so charming, so cool to pull into a port, and we really knew nothing about the island, didn't do much research before we got there, but we could see all of the little touristy spots to go check out. There was a bunch of cafes. As we pulled into port, the port was a crescent-shaped bowl, basically, that you could see all of the cultural buildings, and there's a clock tower. One of the first things we did was went to a place called Placo Strato Hydra restaurant to get a drink. But at this restaurant, the steps there say, "Life is special, enjoy it one step at a time," and that's what we were doing as we were walking around. One of the fun things about this island is there's really no cars, so everyone does get around here just by walking, and they do have donkeys all over the place that you can take a donkey ride. My son Zane had a mission to see if we could find Leonard Cohen's house. He lived there from, I think, 1960 to 1967. And we did find it, found the door. There's no entrance or anything. It's not even labeled, but it's apparently his family has taken over it, and it's in need of repair, I've been told. But that was kind of cool to find that and kind of understand how serene and wonderful this island is for songwriting. It had to be a wonderful time for him to be able to do that. But like I said, we only had about an hour and a half in town, so those are the two main things we did, and just kind of meandered and took it all in and had a great time there. When our time on Hydra was up, we got back on the ship and it was time for lunch. They served lunch in two different areas on the boat, and it was a buffet, and it was very good. I thought it was very, very good, lots of choices. And the fun thing was that you could get your food and then go wherever you want on the boat to eat, and lots of seating all around. So it was lunch with a view. And I think the travel time there was about an hour and a half as we sailed on to our next stop, which was Poros. So our second island stop is Poros, and we only had an hour here. What I'd probably recommend anyone do is there's a really cool looking clock tower that's at the top of the hill that you could probably get to and get back and do a little bit of exploring that way. But I must confess that we decided this one was kind of going to be our family time to sit around a table and drink some Greek beer, and that's what we did. And we talked and sat with the view of the port there, and it was a great time. I wish we had a little bit more time here. And so this is Poros. This is Poros. We only had 45 minutes on shore here, so we're heading back to the boat already. This is where we decided to go have a beer. We had an Alpha, had an Oasis Taverna. Up there you can see the clock tower up high. In theory, you might have had enough time to climb that. Maybe not. I can't really tell you too much about this island because, like I said, I was basically in a restaurant the whole time. But we had a blast, but I don't know too much about it. But it was beautiful from the ship. I got several pictures from the ship. This was a short stop of one hour, and then it was off to our last stop of Aegina. Our last stop was Aegina. I don't know if you want to pronounce the G or not. Some people do. You're not supposed to. This is an island very, very well known for pistachios, and we did get to see a few pistachio trees as we went around. There was so much to do on this island, and we only had an hour and 45 minutes or so. And we decided to split up, and Zane and I decided to go to the Temple of Aphia. So worth it. We had just seen, obviously, in Athens, went to the Parthenon, and the crowds were exasperating, to say the least. And it was amazing that we got to this place and had it all to ourselves for a little while. There was a small busload of people that showed up, but for a while we were the only ones there. It was kind of really calm, and you could see the ocean from on top of this hill. I didn't get much video from this, but I got some beautiful still shots. On the way back, we got to see a beautiful Catholic church. We hired a taxi to take us to both of these, and the taxi driver stopped and waited for us at the church to be able to go inside and take some pictures. It was under construction, so there was some scaffolding in there, but you could tell how beautiful it was. And then we got back into town. We were able to walk down the main aisle and see a few things, and then met up with the rest of our crew for a few drinks along the beach before we had to get back on board. It was a wonderful island, and less than 2 hours is just not enough time to do what all we wanted to do there. But I do think we got to see some of the magical places that I'm very blessed that we got to see. But so much more there. Maybe I'll have to return there at some point. The boat ride back to Athens was about 2 hours long, and we got to watch the sun setting over the horizon. So I actually got my camera out and videoed all of that, and I'll speed it up here so you can see the sun sinking over the horizon. It was just beautiful. They had some performances, some oompa music in the background, and some dancing, and the crowd was just having a lot of fun on the boat. So the ride back is a lot of entertainment there, and everyone's just kind of exhausted from the long day, but just enjoying the ride back. We had a bottle of wine at our table and took it all in. One of the fun things was seeing the seagulls once we got close to Athens, flying along with the boat. That was fun. And just seeing Athens from the sea all lit up, because it was dark by the time we got back, was just a beautiful sight also. Bottom line, recommend this excursion completely. Highly recommended, and I'll have more coming up from what we did while we were in Greece on Santorini and Athens. But for now, that's our excursion to 3 Greek islands in one day. Lots of fun. Join me for the next one. Please like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care. While we were sailing, they gave a little presentation on all of the upcoming things that were going to happen on the trip, and I decided to record all of that, so that's here for you to listen to and kind of get an idea of some of the more specific things that I didn't cover in my videos.
Full invocation card we gave you. Every time we reach an island, every time we sail from an island, you show those cards at the members of the crew so that we know that you're all on board, passengers of our ship for reasons of safety, and you will also need these cards for your lunch, served on board for all passengers after sailing from the first island, the island of Hydra. So when you come back from Hydra, you come directly into this lounge and one at the upper deck. There will be your dining room lounges for you, open buffet set for you all, self-service lunch. You help yourselves, and then you can go and enjoy your lunch wherever you want, inside, outside, wherever you want. The islands we will be cruising today, ladies and gentlemen: Hydra first, Poros second, Aegina third. I can't give you right now the exact times of arrivals and departures. The captain communicates them to us later on. I can give you the approximative time of arrival on the first island, the island of Hydra, that we will be reaching around 11 o'clock this morning. We are due to be back into the main port again around 7:45 this evening. That makes us spend more or less 1 hour and 20 minutes for the first island, 45 minutes the second island, 1:45 the third island, but it will only be before arrival on each island that we will announce to you the time of sailing, asking you please to be back on board always 5 minutes before the ship sailing. Please pay attention whenever you hear the ship's announcements concerning our sailing time. 5 minutes before sailing, all back on board, ship sails on time without any delay. The islands now. I'll start with the second island, the island of Poros. Poros is the island where we spend the less of our time. It's the island where you will be able to disembark, walk around, visiting and exploring this island by yourselves. So free time for the island of Poros. For the first island, the island of Hydra, and the last one, the island of Aegina, these are islands where we have a lot of things to see and to visit. For these reasons, we organize in Hydra and Aegina optional tours, giving you the possibility to have a tour of the island, visiting at the same time the most important sites of them. Let me start with the first island, the island of Hydra. Hydra is the most beautiful island of all, the most picturesque island, built in an amphitheatrical shape down a rocky slope, divided by little narrow streets like a labyrinth, and the island with no cars at all, inviting you to enjoy walking and walking. For this particular reason, we organize in Hydra a very special, best feedbacks up to now, relaxing, interesting, pleasant walking tour. Let me explain to you how it goes. Arriving in Hydra's main port, your guides will be waiting for you at the pier, starting a walk around within the little narrow streets of the island, stopping every now and then to enjoy the best sights, hearing everything about the history of the island, little stories and gossips of this very special society living in Hydra, as well as all the secrets of the members of international jet set spending their holidays on the island. Passing by, amongst others, the oldest naval school in Europe, the local pastry house, to enjoy a bite of the famous almond sweets, delicious. Little squares that became famous due to the films that were filmed there. Octopussy, James Bond with Roger Moore, The Child and the Dolphin with Sophia Loren, Life of Famous Cohen, filming at this very moment on the island, the Monastery of Virgin Mary, the local museum with its treasures, plenty of things to see and to hear while you're walking around, relaxed, having your pictures on the way, the tour ending, leaving you almost 15 minutes free to enjoy the rest of your time on the island, do your shopping and get back to the ship again. Our walking tour in Hydra lasting almost 45 minutes and costing 31 euros per person, everything included, bus tour, guided tour, walking tour, the entrance fees to the sites, and a bottle of water to enjoy with your walk around. Now, third and last island, the island of Aegina. Aegina is a very big island, nothing to do with Hydra and Poros. 85 square kilometers for this island that we reach around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, siesta time for us Greeks, and on an island where distances are big and the sites are out of reach. For these reasons, we organize in Aegina 2 optional bus tours, giving you the possibility to enjoy a bus tour of the island, visiting the most important sites. And I'll start with the first of the tours, our famous and very popular cultural historical tour. Arriving in Aegina's main port, buses will be waiting for us at the pier, crossing the island from west to east, passing by the most important sites, the most wonderful views, pistachio-nut groves. The island is famous and known to us Greeks as the pistachio-nut island, having the biggest world's production of pistachios in Aegina. You will have the chance to buy fresh pistachios of the last crop at the different stops that we will be having, reaching the eastern point of the island in order to visit one of the most well-preserved temples of the Greek antiquity, a temple of the 5th century before Christ, one of the 3 temples forming the famous sacred triangle of the Greeks, as we say, the other 2 being Temple of Poseidon, Georgia is showing you now, on Cape Sunion, Temple of the Parthenon in the Acropolis of Athens. We will be visiting the 3rd one, Temple of Athena in Aegina. Some of you are doing this cruise today just to complete the 3rd of the 3 most important Greek temples, Temple of Athena in Aegina. After the visit to the sanctuary, second visit at the monastery of St. Nectarios, considered to be as one of the most important religious centers of Orthodox Christian world, dedicated to the saint patron of the island, famous healer of Greek Orthodox Church, known for his miracles concerning health problems. At the end of the visits back to the port for our ship sailing, the cultural historical tour lasting almost 1 hour and a half, costing 28 euros per person, everything included, bus tour, guided tour, the entrance fees to the archaeological sites, everything included. Now, special offer of our combination tour, including walking tour in Hydra, 31 euros, and cultural historical tour in Aegina, 28. Instead of paying 59, you pay 46 euros, the package of 2 tours on 2 islands. Second optional tour organized in Aegina, the panoramic nature tour. Arriving in Aegina's main port, buses will be waiting for us again for a complete tour of the island by bus, attending the highest peaks of the mountains, enjoying a unique view of the coast of Attica, the city of Athens, passing by once again pistachio plantations, right, left-hand side, little white houses, so typical of the Greek islands, house of our famous Kazantzakis, his white villa with the blue windows with a fantastic view on the Aegean Sea, from where he got inspiration and serenity to write his novels, known all over international literature, amongst them Zoba the Greek, that became the famous film with Anthony Quinn and Irene Papas. Visiting once again the monastery of St. Nectarios, entering the main cathedral to visit the sacred chapel, and the tour will be ending at the very heart of the ancient city of Aegina, famous fish market, in a little fish restaurant, very typical of the area. You will have the chance to enjoy, included into your ticket, our national aperitif, the ouzo, accompanied by delicious Greek specialties based on seafood, little fried fish, shrimps, octopus, a lovely snack to enjoy with your ouzo while you're walking around the little local shops, enjoying local products, buying your pistachios, and back to the ship. Our panoramic tour in Aegina, lasting almost 1 hour 15, costing 24 euros per person, everything included, bus tour, guided tour, the ouzo and the fish snack in the old city, everything included. Special offer again, including the walking tour in Hydra, 31 euros, and the panoramic tour in Aegina, 24 euros. Instead of paying 55, you save money again and pay 39 euros, the package of 2 tours on 2 islands. So, passengers wishing to participate in one of the optional tours or one of our combination tours that we highly recommend to you all, right now you can see at the TV screens the tours I've been describing to you, starting with the walking tour in Hydra and followed by the tours in Aegina. So, passengers wishing to participate to the tours, after my information with my colleagues, you can do your reservations for the tours until 9:30 the latest. We need to know how many participants we have for each tour in order to have buses, guides, members of the crew accompanying the tours and giving you all the information you need about everything we will be visiting. Reservations with cash or credit cards. Passengers with cash, you receive your tickets right away. Passengers with credit cards, you do the reservation now at your name and to pay later on after the announcement at the Purser's Office Information Office just behind.